Yesterday, we stopped reading at Contemplating Mind as Mind. Today, we're going to continue with Contemplation of Phenomena. 5 hindrances, the 5 hindrances, and how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in phenomena. Here, a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 hindrances. And how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 hindrances? Here, when there is sensual desire in him, a monk understands there is sensual desire in me. Or when there is no sensual desire in him, he understands there is no sensual desire in me. He also understands how unarisen sensual desire arises and how arisen sensual desire is abandoned, and how abandoned sensual desire does not arise again in the future. Footnotes number 44. The 5 hindrances, pancha nivarana, the main inner impediments to the development of concentration and insight. See above, text chapter 8.3. Footnotes number 45. See page 440 for more details. When there's ill will in him, when there's dullness and drowsiness in him, when there's restlessness and remorse in him, when there's doubt in him, a monk understands there is doubt in me. Or when there is no doubt in him, he understands there is no doubt in me. He also understands how the unarisen doubt arises, how arisen doubt is abandoned, and how abandoned doubt does not arise again in the future. So in total, 5 hindrances. The first one is sensual desire. Second one is ill will. Third one is dullness and drowsiness. The fourth, restlessness and remorse. And the last one, doubt. Sister Chaikwan, would you like to continue?
37. In this way, he dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena internally, or he dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena externally, or he dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena both internally and externally, or else he dwells contemplating in phenomena their nature of arising, or he dwells contemplating in phenomena their nature of vanishing, or he dwells contemplating in phenomena their nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there are phenomena is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and repeated mindfulness, and he dwells independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 hindrances. Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Chaikwan. Okay, would Sister Chua Mei like to continue? You're muted.
The 5 aggregates. Again, a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. And how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 aggregates affected by clinging? Here, a monk understands such is form, such is origin, such is passing away, such is feeling, such is origin, such is passing away. Such is perception, such is origin, such is passing away. Such are the volitional formations, such their origin, such their passing away. Such is consciousness, such is origin, such is passing away. In this way, he dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. And he dwells independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the five aggregates to subject to clinging.
Okay, thanks, Sister Shami. Footnotes number 46. The five aggregates, see page 22. And also text chapter 9, section 4.1a to e. So we will cover this again later on in the next chapter. Footnotes number 47. The origin and passing away of the five aggregates can be understood in two ways. First, through the origination and cessation independence on their conditions. See again the next chapter. And second, through their discernible arising, change, and vanishing. The two ways are not mutually exclusive, but can be conceptually distinguished. Somehow like magic, arising, then change, then can vanish. For the five aggregates, so firstly there's form, and for each of the aggregates we can contemplate it in three ways. What exactly is that thing? Yeah, such is form. And second, what is its origin and what is its passing away? Like the footnotes mentioned, footnotes 47, discernible arising, how does form arises? How does form change over time? Yeah, how do we get old over time? Let's say, for example, and how eventually the forms will vanish and will disintegrate. For example, of the body, it will become a corpse eventually. The first one is form. The second one is feeling. Highlight. Third is perception. Fourth is volitional formation. And the last one is consciousness. Form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, consciousness. So 5 aggregates in total. Sister Aikin, would you like to continue?
3. The 6 sense bases. Again, monks. A monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 6 internal and external sense bases. And how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the 6 internal and external sense bases? Here a monk understands the I, he understands form, and he understands the factor that arises dependent on both. And he also understands how the unarisen factor arises, and how the arisen factor is abandoned, and how the abandoned factor does not arise again in the future. He understands the ear, he understands sounds, he understands the nose, he understands odors, he understands the tongue, he understands flavors, he understands the body, he understands tactile objects. He understands the mind, he understands phenomena, he understands the factor that arises dependent on both. And he also understands how the unarisen factors arises and how the arisen factors is abandoned and how the abandoned factor does not arise again in the future. In this way, he dwells contemplating phenomena internally, externally, and both internally and externally. And he dwells independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 6 internal and external sense bases.
Okay, and Sister I came. This one, after 5 aggregates, we talk about 6 sense bases. And what does it mean by internal and external sense bases? So internally is our own, for example, the eye. Externally is what we see from the eye, so the forms. Let me highlight that. So we have eye and forms as internal and external. Yeah, then we understand the factors arises from it. So for example of the ear is internal here, and the sound, everything that we hear is the external. The nose is internal, and whatever we smell, the other will be the external. The tongue, internal, and flavors, whatever we taste, will be the external. And for the body, our own body is the internal. And whatever we touch, tactile objects, will be the external sense bases. And the last one, the mind, is the internal, and whatever the mind understands, the phenomena, will be the external counterpart. 6 internal and 6 external sense bases. Okay, so far we have covered the 5 hindrances, the 5 aggregates, and the 6 sense bases. Any, just a quick checkpoint, any questions or comments for these 3? I think I haven't read the footnote. Footnotes number 48. On the 6 sense bases, see again the next chapter. We'll cover again. And for footnotes number 49, the factor is the desire and lust, chanda raga, that binds the sense faculties to the objects. Okay, see Samyutta Nikaya 35, 232. Okay, Sister Saikyo, would you like to continue?
Number 4, the seven enlightenment factors. Again, monks, a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors. And how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors? Here, when there is the mindfulness enlightenment factor in him, a monk understands there is the mindfulness enlightenment factor in me. Or when there is no mindfulness enlightenment factor in him, he understands there's no mindfulness enlightenment factor in me. And he also understands how the unarisen mindfulness enlightenment factor arises, and how the arisen mindfulness enlightenment factor comes to fulfillment by development. When there is the discrimination of phenomena enlightenment factor in him, when there is the energy enlightenment factor in him, when there is the rupture enlightenment in him, when there is the tranquility enlightenment factor in him, when there is the concentration enlightenment factor in him, when there is the equanimity enlightenment factor in him, a monk understands there is the equanimity enlightenment factor in me, or when there is no equanimity enlightenment factor in him, he understands there is no equanimity enlightenment factor in me. And he also understands how the unarisen equanimity enlightenment factor arises, and how the arisen equanimity enlightenment factor comes to fulfillment by development. In this way, he dwells contemplating phenomena, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. And he dwells independent, not clinging to anything in the world, That is how a monk dwells, contemplating phenomena in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors. Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Saikyang. Footnotes number 50. See, on the enlightenment factors again, see next chapter. Footnotes number 51. The Pali
They
comment.
say, sorry, this one was over already. I think they say it's under the chapter 8. What enlightenment factors?
Let me see. Oh, chapter 8.
Yeah,
Section
we've been
9.
through.
Oh, okay. So it's the previous one.
Section 9, maybe we have not covered.
Section 9 will be the next one, probably.
Further.
Okay, we
Sorry.
cover in the next section. Okay. And then footnotes number 51. The Pali commentaries give detailed information about the conditions that lead to the maturation of the enlightenment factors. See Somatera, the way of mindfulness. If you like more detail, take a look at that book. Okay, quick summary. What are these 7? For the first one, mindfulness. Second, discrimination of phenomena. Third, energy. The fourth, rapture. The fifth, tranquility. Then concentration. The sixth, and the last one, equanimity. So these are the 7 enlightenment factors. Okay, Sister Billy, would you like to continue?
Five, the Four Noble Truths. Again, monks, among dwarfs contemplating phenomena in terms of the Four Noble Truths. And how does a monk dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the Four Noble Truths? Here, the monk understands as it really is. This is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. In this way, he dwells contemplating phenomena internally, or he dwells contemplating phenomena externally, or he dwells contemplating phenomena both internally and externally. Or else he dwells contemplating in phenomena the nature of arising, or he dwells contemplating in phenomena the nature of vanishing, or he dwells contemplating in phenomena the nature of both arising and vanishing. Or else mindfulness that there are phenomena is simply established in him to the extent necessary for fair knowledge and repeated mindfulness. And he dwells independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a monk dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the Four Noble Truths.
Thanks, Sister Billy.
Thank you.
Footnote number 52. The longer Mahasatipanana Sutta in Digha Nikaya defines and elaborates on each of the Four Noble Truths. C2, Majjhima Nikaya 141. Okay, so quick recap. What are the Four Noble Truths? This is suffering, this is the origin, this is the cessation, and this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Okay, let's conclude this time. Conclusion. Monks, if anyone should develop these 4 establishments of mindfulness in such a way for 7 years, one of 2 fruits could be expected for him. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-returning. Footnote number 53, final knowledge anya is the Arahant's knowledge of liberation. Non-returning anagamita is the attainment of the state of the non-return. let alone 7 years, monks. If anyone should develop these 4 establishments of mindfulness in such a way for 6 years, for 5 years, for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, for 1 year, one of 2 fruits could be expected for him. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-returning. Let alone 1 year, monks. If anyone should develop these 4 establishments of mindfulness in such a way for 7 months, 6 months, for 5 months, for 4 months, for 3 months, for 2 months, for 1 month, half a month, one of 2 fruits could be expected for him. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-returning. The Buddha continues, let alone half a month, monks. If anyone should develop these 4 establishments of mindfulness in such a way for 7 days, one of 2 fruits could be expected for him. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there's a trace of clinging left, non-returning. So it was with reference to this that it was said, monks, this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the passing away of pain and dejection, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the 4 establishments of mindfulness. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It's taken from Majjhima Nikaya 10, Satipatthana Sutta. It's a pretty famous sutta. So this is what we have covered in the past few days. Any questions or comments?
No wonder the retreats are all 7 days most of the time. So I think if we practice hard enough in 7 days, we can reach the non-returner stage if we still have clinging. If not, then we will get liberation like the Arahant. No, this is just a joke, sorry. I just want to comment is during the retreat, right? Bhikkhu Analayo says, like the phrases there mentioned, we not only are mindful when the defilements is present, which most of the time we will be concentrating on. For example, when we sit, then okay, there's irritation, there's defilements, there's greed, there's hatred, kind of thing. But he says also to note when there is no greed, no hatred, no delusion. So normally we also pay more attention to the arising. That means something happened, something arises, and then we are aware. For example, there's a sound, then we are aware, hearing, and then we hear the sound. But we also have to know the ceasing, because I think habitually we are more conditioned to arising. The arising, we catch it, but not the ceasing. Yeah, so we see arise, but we sort of like don't really see the going away. So we have to train the mind to habitually see arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing, that pattern. And then also, Venerable Chun Lien said, just now when we said the 6 internal and external sense bases, so there's I to the external form. So attention should be to the internal sense space. That means your eye, then you see. So you're just seeing and seeing as it is. Don't pay attention to the object that you are seeing, the form. So if you pay less attention to the outside object and you just tell your mind that seeing is seeing, then the second level of like and dislike will be easier to see, to spot it. Yeah. So just whenever you see something, you hear something, you just see it as your eyes seeing and seeing. Yeah. So that's what Venerable Chun Lien says, should train our mind that way. How we should cultivate. Yeah. Just for sharing. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Sister Saikyam. So think we should all go for 7 days retreat. Okay, but Sister Shaming, do you have a comment?
No, I just want to ask, and this is ignorance on my part. I just cannot figure it out. How does contemplation sit in the whole process of meditation? Isn't contemplation thinking?
There are questions about concepts. That means, but we have to make use of some concepts to start with, because it cannot be like out of nothingness that you practice. So we have to rely on some concepts, some basic knowledge, and then we work on that before we can let the thing go. Yeah. So that is how I know lah. That means you have to contemplate on something first lah. That means you have to rely on something first. Like to calm your mind and all that, you need to know your own body, you need to know the breath, that kind of thing. So you have to rely on some conceptual thing for you to focus and train the mind. And slowly, when you have the vipassana part comes in, you know that you are able to see the impermanence, the not self, the non-clinging, and then eventually the ultimate goal is to dwell independently and not clinging to anything. But before that, if we tell you about emptiness of self and all that, it's very difficult for us to understand. So that is what all this contemplation comes. Yeah.
But contemplation can take place off the meditation cushion, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So it is everywhere. Dharma is everywhere. But because when we are off the meditation cushion, we are oftentimes not in that calm state. Our mind is, like very distracted by the daily happenings that we have to dwell with our internal sense base. When we, touch the external, then there's consciousness. So a lot of things are going on. But there is the bridge, that is when Bhikkhu Analayo puts you in formal sitting to understand how you contemplate the arising, the vanishing, the internal, the external, and you have all that concept already. You start to contemplate them in the formal sit. Then it comes to this open awareness. That means whatever that arises, you are aware, bare awareness first. So then in your daily activity, also you can use all the things that's happening as object for contemplation. And that is where you can practice Dharma from the time you wake up until the time you rest, in all postures, in everywhere, anytime. Yeah.
Okay.
Sister Billy also have a comment here. Sister Billy says, my thinking there may not be awareness. Contemplation, there must be awareness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question, Sister Shomei, and for chipping in, Sister Saikyang and Sister Billy. Okay, would Sister Chekon like to do the dedication?
回向，愿消三障除烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，不愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。
Thanks, Sister Chekwan. Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a contemplating Monday ahead. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Guys,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.